But those of us who are here, we cannot be intimidated.
I lie.
If they so wish to shoot guns, let them take themselves to Barak and continue to shoot themselves. For Nigerian students here, we are going to remain undaunted, and we are going to continue to demand the immediate release of our students.
My story dates back to April 6th, 7th, and 8th of 2016 at the University of Lagos, when what I can describe as a tsunami happened at the University of Lagos. It has not happened in a long while. And the issues then were actually about, water. There was no water on campus. Even sachet water was not available at some point. It was so bad at that time that students were, because there was no water, so they were using sachet water to beds, to classes and all of that. So that really affected the supply of sachet water at that time. Electricity was also a serious problem for days. The student leaders at that time and the student union, which was just reinstated after 11 years of suspension, walked down to the DS's office at that time to just lay the issues bare before the Division of Student Affairs. But they met serious backlash, or let me say they were reprimanded for doing that. Then they came back, but students could not hold the whole thing anymore. And then that protest started that evening, the evening of 6th of April, 7th of April to the next day. And then 8th of April, it then erupted into a riotous manner, because it was in fact the management that made it riotous, because they brought in anti-riot police officers armed to the teeth to chase out students. So the campus was shut down for 2 weeks. And upon the expiration of that 2 weeks, the Senate then came up with resolutions. And that was where they got me pissed, because there was nothing in that resolution that actually addressed all of the issues that we raised. Very funny things like, there will now be light from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. After that, don't expect light on campus. It was in that resolution. They asked us to sign an indemnity form to indemnify the management from any responsibilities. That's how I interpret it. There was also a reabsorption oath, something that we all must sign. It was as if at that time, all students who participated in that protest were expelled. So to reabsorb you back to the campus, you need to sign a form. So I was seated when I saw, it was on Sunday, and we asked to resume Monday. I was like, no, this is not going to work. And I wrote an article addressing all of these issues. Gross malfeasance on campus, sexual harassment also was included in my article, and then published it just on my Facebook, timeline at that time. The thing went viral. And on the 1st of June, we came back to campus. Some of us resisted the signing of the indemnity form, which was actually just a psychological game that was played on Unilag students at that time. There was nothing in that paper, nothing actually. So on the 1st of June, I was contacted by my department that I have a letter to pick. Immediately I heard that I have a letter to pick, I knew it was, because I wrote it even in the article that I was ready for anything that was going to come out of this. I was so prepared for it. So I went to the campus, I picked up the letter, I found out that it was a letter to appear before a panel. We were invited, I think 20 of us were invited, over 20. To cut the long story short is to say that even at the University of Lagos at that time, the offense upon which I was suspended for what did not exist anywhere in the books of the University of Lagos. It was smuggled into the 2016-2017 handbook that they produced, just little copies, and they called it cyber crime, cyber offense or something like that. It was the last form, so you can tell already that this was just a smuggled offense, just to punish me. So I appeared before the panel of 8 professors, and then I discussed all these issues, and then the whole thing ended the way it went. But as panels now, they are always predetermined, and that was how I was suspended for 4 good semesters. It was a torturous journey. We went to court. The case was struck out on technical grounds. I think I had 7 count charges or count allegations like that on that. One of which is that, I brought in students to chase out the vice president at some point. Many issues like that. It was cancelled. The other one, I went with a lawyer, Inibe Hefyong, the fairy human rights lawyer. We went to the panel. Different personalities came into the matter, reached out to the University of Lagos. But the vice chancellor at that time was so adamant, that's Professor Raman Bello. So that was passed on from him to his deputy, Professor Tony Ogudikwe. At the expiration of the 4 semesters, The management also held on to my portal. I was under suspension, but I had to lead students to the campus. We were arrested, beaten, tortured, taken to Panti, and then remanded without any representation by any lawyer. In fact, I was sent to prison on a Saturday morning, April 1st, 2017. And so that happened, and we came back. Those who were suspended were actually reinstated, but I was only the one they were so fixated on, and I was not reinstated until 2021. It is customary of African parents and African families. They were not happy. Oh, hey, you know, that was the story. They had to, let me say, they had to give up, and then they just started supporting. Like, and my mom was actually more supportive than my dad, and I have to say this on camera. When the news broke out, student activists who graduated from the University of Lagos, Omoyele Sowore leading that pack, Dr. Malcolm Fabiyi, Dr. Leke Otsunuga, Sheyi Gambo, all these persons like Digikola Wale came together and said, there's a need to assist these students. And so they came up with an organization called Student Activists and Youth Activist Support Initiative, SIAC at that time. And that was how we met. As I met Sowore for the first time in 2016. And since then, we've been good political pals. He's been a mentor. The journey so far has taught me a number of lessons. And I look back today, and I can say, I can count the successes, count the failures. You know, there was a time I was actually kidnapped by students, and you would feel like a student activist kidnapped by students again. You know, so, but we understand how these things work. Moving forward, no students, activists, will ever go through this torturous journey. I make that pledge that I will do all in my capacity, and I hope Nigerians also will join me to make this pledge that nobody will have to go through this kind of torture. So I finished from the Department of Building, Faculty of Environmental Sciences, and moving forward, definitely I'm practicing. We're doing construction, we're doing building. So you should be so assured that the integrity of your building is safe with someone like Femi Adeyeye handling it.